Welcome back for this very special live here on the Nullified Take channel, where we've got the TNT takes for you on the challenge, more specifically the Challenge USA. I am joined once again by my friends, both Drew from the Angelcake Entertainment channel and Chantal from Reality Realness with 3 S's. It's been a while since we've actually had an opportunity to sit down and talk about the challenge. So I'm like a kid in a candy store today, Drew. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Around 6:30, my time, I was doing some random editing, and I looked up at the clock and saw that it was 6:30, and I ran into the shower and I got out, and I've been sitting here ever since. So I'm good. I was in a straight panic, but I feel like it got me ready for this.
Yeah. Drew's always ready for these fantasy drafts that we do, Chantal. Do you have a game plan coming into this one? Because Drew's leading this thing 4-2 right now. We're getting schooled every single time we do this.
I don't know what to do. I really don't. You say that we're friends. I say that we're enemies, and like we're going to battle right now. I'm sorry. It's gonna have to be me and Chris against you, Drew, because we can't let you go be 5-2-2. Like if that's what our numbers are, right? If he wins again.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like it would be 5-2-2, but I'm also pretty confident that the chat firmly has Drew's back in this one. They want to see him go for another win here. I'm pretty sure they'll be like all team Drew for this one. But Chantal, I've got faith in us. This is the one where we pull it back. You know, I did win the last USA one. I don't know if that counts for anything coming into this season because, you know, they kind of flipped the script on us here. It's not the same format. It's not the fact that it's only CBS reality stars playing in this. They're also bringing vets into the show. And Drew and I kind of had a bit of a conversation about this before we went live. It's weird how we now get some decent vets playing in the USA franchise, but you know, looking at the next season, we don't want to get into too much with the main show. The main show is moving away from these vets. Drew, what's going on? It's, you know, crazy town out there with what they're doing with the franchise right now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I mean, I can barely know what's going on with production in particular, of what their thought process was, why they won't give us certain seasons, or why they're holding off on certain seasons, why they're not putting people or not. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I can't begin to put logic to people being illogical in my opinion. So, yeah, I don't know. Know. That's all I can say.
I want to say hello to a few people here in the live. It's going to be hard to continue to look at the live throughout this tonight because we do have quite a bit of people to go through and when we do our draft, but I'm going to do my best to bring them up. But I definitely want to say hello to Lovable Nikki. Chris is back in the chat as well, keeping everybody in order with Lovable Nikki. Demetria, welcome as well. Willie is back here saying, it's been a while since the Three Musketeers have been together. So glad they're doing the Challenge USA 2 draft together. Obviously, it's routine for us to come together and do a draft before a season. So we're going to try and do that as long as we can. Joanne, welcome back here to the live as well. Let me just see if I've missed anybody. Lena, welcome. And Sue, welcome as well. If I've missed you, I do apologize. Let's go into the rules here for this draft before we start picking. So the way it worked, and I double-checked this with Drew beforehand, it kind of feels weird to know that I won the last USA one because it feels like I've lost a few drafts since then. Due to that, the last time we sort of had a bit of a gentleman's agreement that whoever won will go last in the draft order, but they will get to pick either female or male for their first pick. The person who would have finished last in the previous draft, which, surprise, surprise, was Drew, not a place that he's familiar with being at the bottom. He's going to go first in this draft, but he doesn't have the say on if it's going to be female or male. And then Chantal is going to be in a very familiar spot. She's been in that middle spot for quite a bit, but Chantal, you're back in between the two boys at the moment, and you're going to have to hold it up in the middle.
I don't know how this is going to go down because like you're saying, like the way that they've constructed this new cast is just, it's just a little bit challenging because yes, I'm really familiar with the Challenge MTV version and all the players that come into that. And usually, and then now I am familiar with all the shows on CBS. And so when it was separate, like I had a better understanding on how I thought or was going to project that they were going to be able to do, because I
Yeah.
just knew them from their CBS games. But now that you're mixing in some MTV people, I don't know where the influence is going to be taken, who's going to start to be in alignment, when before it was just going to be a little more blind and just going on how I think, how I'm guessing that they're going to be coming together. But now the guessing is like with knowledge. And so I don't know if I'm going to guess right. Like, is Corey going to get all the people together and get all like the newbie hot girls together and they're going to form an alliance against Banana? Like, I just don't know how it's all going to map out, because I do feel like all the MTV vets are going to take on their CBS like little rookies and it's going to be kind of like teams. That's kind of how I going to kind of end up being, but I just don't know how it's going to play out. So I just don't know how to draft, really, because the MTV players are throwing a bit of a spanner in the works here.
Yeah, and we just don't know if the skill set that some of these players that are coming from other shows, if it's going to translate quickly enough to the challenge so they can compete with people who have played the game more than once. And that's the big question mark. Even if they're good in their own franchise and they're a good show, will they be able to replicate that strategic thinking that got them at a certain place in that game? Will they be able to replicate that physical game that they played potentially in their own seasons? And will that be enough to go up against some pretty stacked vets that are playing in this season? So that's a big question mark for me. We do need to talk about the Sabotage round, because obviously the Sabotage round is a very popular one. I did ask a question here at the beginning of the live, and we'll have this poll running for a while still, but I asked who will pick the best Sabotage this time around. 63% are saying, Drew, you're going to get the best Sabotage. Chantel, you've got 21%, and I am right at the bottom at 16%. Nobody has got faith in me to pick a very good Sabotage. I do think I've given some people some freebies in the past, so I don't blame
I
chat
think
for
you
not
pick
having faith.
amazing Sabotages, except for you picked Tyree for me, right?
Yeah, that's for All Stars. I almost forgot about that, but I still feel good about that one. Let's see how it plays out.
I don't even know who's on it.
So we've got, if I'm correct, there's 24 cast members. We've got 8 rounds that we'll go through when we pick. How do both of you feel about the 6th round for the Sabotage round? That doesn't mess up with any of the early picks. Is that too late?
I think it's too late. I think it needs to be earlier, because like what we were doing, it was the 3rd round, so like it'd be like after everybody got 2 male, 2 female. Or sorry, I guess. Oh, that's what you mean by 6.
So
so there's female.
Yeah. So
it'll be
so
5th and 6th round.
Yeah. That's fine. That's correct.
5th and 6th round.
Right.
Okay. Let me just make a note of that so I don't forget.
Male, female, sabotage, male, female.
Right. All right. So what we'll do now is we'll spin the wheel. Spin the wheel. Spin the wheel.
Can I make a suggestion? Since there's 3 of us and we each get 2 sabotages, the other 2 people get to switch off who gives who the sabotage. So like,
we go backwards. We go like one way. I'd pick you a sabotage for you, and the other time I'd pick one for Chris. Isn't that how we did it before?
I have no idea.
Last
That's what I was going to suggest.
Is that what you're going to suggest? Last time we did it a different way, but I'm happy to change it. I'm happy to change it. Just when we get to the Sabotage round, Angelcake, I might go to you so I don't get confused with what's happening on that round. So you take charge of the Sabotage round so I don't get confused on that. And we can do it whichever way you want.
I just want some balance here, because if you 2 are striking a collusion against me, I don't want Chris to give Chantel easy.
But it'd be 1 and 1.
Sabotages.
It'd be 1 and 1, no matter what.
So yeah, I would give like a man to Chris, and then a woman sabotage to Chantel, or vice versa, and then the same to everybody else.
Exactly.
All right. Well, in that case, we don't actually have to spin, because the spin used to determine when.
Oh, okay.
Like,
so yeah,
who would choose.
I see what you're saying. Got it.
Yeah. So we don't need to spin. So in that round, we're just gonna make sure that each one of us gives one a sabotage,
a male and a female to each.
Yeah. All right. I'm good with that. All right. Without further ado, let's get into.
I mean, okay, honestly, Angelcake, we're not gonna like sabotage you in like that way, but just know that we're coming for you, okay?
100%. All right, so I've got to make the big first decision of will we start with men or females? And you know what? I'm staying true to what I've been doing, and it hasn't worked for me so far, but I feel confident in this decision. I'm always less confident about the amount of women that are there to pick in the early stages. So I want to start with women, and I'm going to allow for Drew to start with men when
Okay.
we start this draft. So you can pick a man as your first pick, Drew.
Okay. I thought, okay.
I see what you
the
mean.
way, yeah, the way you worded it, I was like, what are we doing? Like, don't let me go. All right. Well, so I feel like I'm with everybody in being like questioning why that there are so many MTV people in here. I think it's because Love Island, the Paramount doesn't have Love Island contract anymore, and it's gone over to Peacock, so they can't use much of any Love Island anymore. So they want to also bridge the gap between the CBS audience and the MTV audience. I'm not saying that I like that. I understand it as a business standpoint. I don't necessarily feel like I like that from a gameplay, but I also love it for me, because whenever there's like actual MTV vets, I actually win these things. And last season I had no idea where to go. So I'm going to stick true to picking MTV players because I think that they're going to actually know how to play this game, know how to manipulate, and maybe tag team together to go far. And to me, I'm going to go strong with Wes Bergman as my first number 1 pick.
Yeah, good pick. I mean, what's there not to like about Wes? The only thing for me, I actually had Wes as my 4th pick this time because I had him as my first pick last time. And the reason for it is that I've learned a lesson with Wes. You know, it's either he hits a home run or he goes bust. And I don't know how this season is going to go for him. There's a lot of newbies. I like the fact that he showed respect to newer players in the game and saying, you are kind of what we need to continue this franchise on long term. So don't let other people make you feel like you don't belong. I think that could definitely garner some, favor with some of the newer players in the game if they're aware of that. I don't know if these players coming in actually watched any of the other challenge seasons. That's debatable. But with Wes, solid pick. Like he was either, depending on where you guys are going to go, I've picked him as a first. You've picked him as a first before. Angelcake, I'm not surprised. He is a GOAT. He is a legend of this game, right, Chantel?
100%. I just find it funny that the chat is like, well, he hasn't done well in recent seasons / he just won All-Stars 3. So it's so hilarious that people do not give Wes credit for like being a reigning champion right now. Maybe not for 38. Where are we? I don't even know, 38. But like, or the most recent one that we just watched. But he is the reigning champion for All-Stars. So I think that's hilarious. He's my number 1 guy as well. So no surprise that you picked them. You know, he'll flop, but maybe he'll win. And that he's going to give you good confessionals. You know that he's going to be doing something. You know, he's going to try to bring all these rookies together to have a little army. So he's going to be putting in some work. Sometimes it doesn't work out for him, but sometimes it really does. And so I think the gamble with Wes is a positive one. So I 100 would be taking him first off the board.
All right, so you've got the
looking for a bounce back. Like last World Championship, I felt like he was in a good spot. It was just that he screwed up and took that unnecessary risk of not drinking that drink. So I feel like if he would have been able to get past that spot, I think he and Zara would have been in a much better spot moving forward in that game. So I think
she was better at math or had stronger arms. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, and if there's a spot of being individual eliminations, I feel Wes is way better at those than pairs or teams or anything like that. So I just, that's where my head is at. Everybody in the chat, I'm already getting flamed for the first pick, and it's Wes.
No, I actually think most of the people are actually agreeing with you. Most people are saying it's a good pick from what I can see. There was one person.
Question. I just, now that we're sitting here to do this, I had like a flash of memory of like 6 months ago. Are they going to be in teams?
Yes. So I confirmed this with Nikki before I went live because I was too afraid to go and look at anything.
I know. I'm afraid now too, but I was like, I think there were teams, and that I wish that I looked at that again.
But does that mean much though, Chantel? Because, you know, they start in teams, they could end as individuals, they could get
No, I know, but I'm talking about dynamic and forced alliances, right?
That's true. That's true. So that's another unpredictable factor that we have to deal with. But I am glad that we're working on teams and not with the bloody algorithm this time. I had to force myself to watch 3 seasons of the algorithm, and I'm just happy that thing is gone, personally. Chantel, you've got the floor. Pick your first
Oh my
guy
God.
pick here.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I am sick to my stomach right now. I like sick. I don't even know if I can, like, my number
Are you
two
going?
and number
Go ahead.
three are awful. And like, I don't
Yeah.
want to pick either of them. But
Yeah.
before, when the cast dropped, I think we even talked about it, the cast drop. I don't know. I talked about the cast dropping. And no matter what, even though I don't particularly like this person, I think it could be his season to win. And so I have to do it. I have to pick Fessy.
Oh,
I like.
didn't think you were going to go that way.
Did he walk off, Drew? I mean,
Did he?
I know
Oh, he's
that
gone.
he's like a really insufferable human being, but he can be quite good at these challenges. And if he has a good team or a good partner, he's not like, he does win stuff. And he's a big guy. There's so many rookies here. The people that he's going to be going against, like, he's kind of friendly with Bananas. So maybe they're going to kind of work together. Like, I don't know. I just see if he gets to the end, I think he could beat pretty much all the guys there. So as much as I'm not a fan of him as, you know, a person on my television screen, he might be great in real life. I don't know.
You know what,
I think
Chantel?
he might win it.
I don't hate this pick from you. Like, one of the things that I told myself coming into this one is that I'm going to take my personal feelings out of this draft because it has not worked for me until this point. And I'm just going to think about this. Like, I don't care if I like the person, if I dislike them, I will shout for them no matter what if they're in my team because I just want to freaking win. And if Fessy is the one to get you that win, who cares? Like, that's a win that you need right now. We both need that win. So I can support this move.
Nikki's comment.
I need a replacement for Chantel. She's been compromised. But listen, you know, say what you want about Fessy's personal life and the stuff that he does on the show that is questionable. He always...
I'm going to get hookup points. I'm going to get hookup points. Like,
the camera loves him. They follow him. They want to check in with Fessy. What is he up to? Is he being messy? Like, we're going to get that content again this season. And like you said, I'm looking at this. He was my second pick on my rankings for this season. So I still have my number one left, which I'm very grateful for at this point. But, you know, Fessy to me was someone that I was considering putting him as my number one. So I don't hate this for you because I do think he's proven he can get to the end every single time he plays. He's going to get deep in the game. Somehow his castmates love him. We don't see it. As fans, we don't get the love, but they love him. So socially, he's doing good in the game, and he's got friends playing this game with him. So I think it's a solid pick, Angelcake.
I'm like really scared because like I did like a Big Brother's winners draft. And, like, I had to hide from Twitter. I had to hide. I was like off Twitter for 48 hours because people were coming for me. So I'm worried here.
In my initial rankings, I did put Fessel number 2 for size. I feel like he's coming in CBS. He probably knows a good amount of these players. He knows the MTV crew. It's hard. It's hard not to think that he's gonna go far this season. I mean, the only person that's missing is Casey, and him trioed with Casey and Tyler would go far on top of all the other MTV players. I just think looking at this cast, it's hard not to think that he's not like a shoo-in to win the not win the finals, but win enough to make it to the finals and then get a spot in there, and then also, like you said, make out points and all that other stuff. So I think it's a solid pick. I love how chat is just hating on Chantel right now. Yeah.
We're being supportive and we're like, let's put the feelings aside because we're trying to be competitive. Chat's like, no, all the feelings matter. It matters in these drafts.
I'm supportive because I didn't have to make the pick. That's why I'm very happy about this. I didn't have to make it because I'm telling you, if the next men round came up and Fessel was still there, there would be no way I couldn't pick him at that point. 100%. I feel like so. Yeah.
Listen, Chantel, you now know how it feels like to be me when I upset the chat with my picks. You can be the villain for a change.
I'm the villain. I'm in my villain era.
You're in your villain era for sure. All right. I have to make the next pick here, and this person was my number one pick. I saw your comment, Chris. That person is somewhere high up for me as well, but this is a person that I just have to go for Johnny Bananas. I have to, and I picked him first last time, or second last time. I'm picking him. That's my first pick here. I have to pick Bananas.
Can we roast him for this one? Like,
I don't care. I don't care.
Bananas has legit been a flop. Been a flop.
Listen, this reminds me of an Eminem lyric when he was saying, like, if making millions is a flop, then I'll take it, because he's made millions in this game and he is still getting to the end game. You know, recently, like we speak about recency, he won what 3 seasons ago that he played. 2 seasons ago, he was in the finale.
16 challenges ago at this point. I don't remember what's going on.
It's recent. Like, he hasn't been on every single season. Plus, the thing is, for me, I do have respect for his legacy. I do have respect for the fact that he's won championships. I do have respect for the fact that he's going to be good in confessionals. He's basically a co-producer of the show. They love him. They're not going to not have Bananas as a part of the main story of this season. The only way I do bad, I feel like I'm taking a similar risk to Wes. I don't see...
Who's he going to hook up with?
Yeah, it's getting a bit gross with him, like, you know, trying to hook up with girls that are like, he's kind of like Leonardo. He's like Leonardo DiCaprio of The Challenge, right? Isn't he? Like, the girls keep staying the same age and he's getting older.
That's really gross.
That is really disgusting.
I don't know if I could go sign on any of the hookup stuff, but I do know that there's definitely no way that he's going out there and he's not going to at least get some confessionals. Now, for me, I like it when people have something to prove. I feel like Bananas left World Championships pissed off about the fact that he got outplayed and that he left the game in the way that he did. He's not coming back this season to make up the numbers. I'm pretty confident about that. Chantel, tell me more about why you hate this pick.
I don't hate this pick, but I just need, I can't be hazed here by picking Fessel. I mean, I think that, to be honest, in more things, one-on-one, I think Fessy could do better than Bananas. You know, physically, height-wise, like strength-wise, I think that Fessy's got Bananas beat. Bananas has been staying out of eliminations for the most part. And yes, he did win the one where they're on the ladder, but that's just kind of size and balance. Obviously, you know, Bananas is the most winningest challenger that we've ever had, but he is now in his 40s. I just don't know if he's still going to have the same sauce. I still don't know if they might not be bringing him on to, like, maybe pass his torch onto a Fessel.
But should you retire when you're still making?
I'm not saying to retire, but I'm just saying I don't know if he's going to get the win.
So I just had someone here, Joanne, say that he should have retired, and I get it. People don't want him to. You know, the problem is, like, when you're an athlete and you're at the top of your game or you're good at what you do, people want you to go out on a high. They don't want to see you become that old man in the club talking about his best days being back at school playing, you know, quarterback for the first team, and he's not done anything since then. They don't want to see that. But I don't think he is over it yet. I think if he's, you know, 3 seasons ago won a season that he's participated in, and 2 seasons ago made a final, yes, he was outplayed last season, but I mean, he went up against 2 really good players and got outplayed. That's just it, you know? And he went out against Jordan. That's not something that you should be ashamed of. Jordan is the top athlete, Angelcake.
Yeah, I definitely think that. The thing that I think Bananas is, for me here, looking at everybody else, to me, I think he showed a lot of his flaws the past 2 seasons, in the sense that, I mean, there were big enough flaws that I put him all the way down to number 8 for my rankings.
Today? So he's your 8th pick today?
Yeah, he was my 8th man.
Okay, he was still my 3rd pick, guys. Okay, I'm just, like, defending my own picks. It's still going in my order so far.
He was 8th because he was a background character in, essentially, like, he didn't get a ton of confessionals or wasn't really out there in front of the cameras on either 38 or the World Championship. And then this season kind of reminds me of a World Championship where it's a ton of new players that are wanting to prove themselves. And he did not come off very well or as likable as he felt like he could be or should be. And luckily Sarah's not there and Danny's not there to, like, make everybody go after Bananas, but if he's not going to like change his attitude towards some of the new players and he's going to come in thinking that he's head honcho and he knows everything, which I mean, granted, he's done this so much more than the other rookies, but you can't go in there looking like you're the alpha dog. You got to like play your hand a little bit better. And I just don't have that much trust in Bananas, in my opinion. But I just want to throw this out there. After my West pick, all the chat was like roasting me. Can I just say, who has the better pick and the most likable pick and the family-friendly pick out of the first
I'm not going for
I'll
likable picks today. I'm not. The next one might be different. The next one might be different because I am going to pick the first female, and there was a reason that I wanted to pick females first because in my mind there are 4 females that stand head and shoulders above anyone else on this cast. And I didn't want to lose out on this person if I didn't pick first. I feel like maybe Drew would have skipped them, but I know that Chantal would have not skipped them. And that's why I couldn't let that person stay there. I'm going with Desi for my first female
so
pick
annoying.
here.
You're so annoying.
Similar to what I did, the previous draft we did, I'm going for a newbie player. If you remember correctly, I had a newbie as my first female pick that season as well, who did extremely well, the Australian Queen. Desi, for me, last season was hard done by Enzo quitting in the final. And I feel like she's going to come back with fire in her belly. She would not have said yes if she didn't want to win. She was second in a lot of dailies to Angela that season, who is just a freak of nature. Angela's not here this season. And a little bit of bias is also kicking in because I also looked at the other person who was my second pick, and I thought, who would I rather have in my team? And I went for the young buck. I went for the one that still has something to prove and one that I maybe would like shouting for a little bit more coming into this season. Plus, you guys all know I love my Survivor players. And I knew that this one would annoy you, Chantal.
Of course, I was like, okay, at least I'll get Desi no matter what. I won't have to decide between people that I don't want to have on my team that I feel like I'm going to have to pick just because of their legacy. I'm so annoyed. I thought it was going to be
By the way, Chris, I saw your comment to Drew in the Angelcake Discord where you said pick Desi first. I saw you saying to pick her because she's got something to prove, and I was like, I'm not allowing Angelcake to do that. I don't know if he would have picked her, but I was like, nah, Chris, you're not helping him get her first. I want her in this draft.
Lovable Nikki, you got to tell me what to do because I actually don't know I don't know what to do. No, Desi was definitely, I was really hoping that you were going to go for like Tori and then I'd get Desi. And then I wouldn't have to think about the first few girl picks because like, I do agree with you. The girls
could you have Fessy and Tori in your team? Is that a real possibility right now?
Team Turks and Caicos. There we go.
Oh my gosh. Do you know? I don't know what I'm gonna do. But yeah, no, Desi. Obviously, I'm just annoyed that you are really, really, really playing hard. I thought we're working together here, Drew. Against Drew, not like against me.
I want to win. What can I say? I want to win. Like if I don't win, I wouldn't mind you winning, Chantal. But if I could choose, I still want to win. So I have to go for. But listen, I feel like there are 3 other female picks that are pretty solid. I feel better seeing the chat and how everybody is happy about the pick. I was a little bit nervous, but I do like to have at least one pick that can go either way for me. But I do feel solid about Desi. And what I like about her as well is the fact that she doesn't lose her mind when it comes to silly games. She's just a very even kill, solid player. I don't know if that's going to bode well for her in the confessionals, but I know that strategically to get deep in the game and being competitive, she's going to do pretty well with that. Angelcake, you've been pretty quiet. What do you think of this first pick?
It's solid. I mean, you said 4 women are up at the top. I had a tier 1 of 3 women with Desi in that top tier. I thought that she played really well on USA 1. Not seeing an elimination. She's super strong. She's coming in, already played a challenge season. And I just think that's a pretty strong pick. She was in the mix to being my first woman pick, but like I said, there's 2 other women that I was contemplating whether to pick. So I think it's a solid pick. I can't deny that she's a strong player and coming in with something to prove. And I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm not. I mean, I'm going to say that even that she's on your team, that like I'm still rooting for her to go far on this season. Like I want to see that redemption. Like I felt like she got absolutely robbed. USA won, and I will always come after Enzo, no matter what. I don't give a crap about the meow meow. I don't care how long he can sit in the house and lie to people. Learn to swim, old man. That's
Seriously.
all I have to say.
Chantel, you're next. Who's your first female pick?
I was really hoping that I wasn't going to have to make this decision.
Uh-oh.
But she is a winner.
Are
Uh-oh.
you going where I think you're going?
She has friends in the house.
Oh.
She's got... I have to go with Victoria.
Tori.
Ooh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
That's rough. I never thought I would see the day that Chantel is putting her hopes on Fessy and Tori. So if Chad has ever wondered if Chantel is taking this very seriously, this is how you know she's taking it seriously, because she is picking the people she absolutely despises in the game to carry the torch for Team Chantel this season. What's going on, Chantel?
I'm sick. But like I just can't not have like the last time, like I was so upset with Casey, and look at Casey, like pretty much got you like so many points. Giving Casey as a sabotage, thinking that she's not going to bring any points to the table. Well,
yeah, that was,
you know,
that's a good sabotage. Thank you.
As much as I'm not a fan of Tori, she is still capable of getting to the end of these games, and she has enough friends in there. I think that she will be able to do so. I do think that she does hold her own in the dailies. She wins some of the times, but she always is able to get herself insulated. I might not like her gameplay. I might not want her to win necessarily, but I do think that she will get to the end and at least get me points. The show loves her. And so as much as you have like Johnny Bananas there, the show loves him. The show loves Tori. They want Tori on their seasons. She is the only female out of 38 that's back here to play again. So I'm going to have to say that they're going to want to have her stay as long as possible. So I am going to see if she can get me some points and maybe even become a 2-time winner. But
yeah, listen, Tori was my second pick as well. I was like, you know, I knew there was a chance I would have to go there. Luckily, you took the option, and I don't have to shout for Tori this season. Drew, how do you feel about this? There's a few people in the chat thinking that you might feel like you've dodged a bullet here.
Well, I will say that Tori, based off of her recent record, was in that top tier because she has been making it to finals like it's nobody's business. She's been able to sneak all the way up there from 37, 38, world championships. I mean, it's insane how she's just being able to just kind of waltz her way into a finals. And hopefully she learned how to ride a bike at this point.
oh my God, I forgot about that.
I will say,
well, there's a massive positive for her. There's a massive positive for her this season. Jordan isn't there, so she's not going to throw her game away for Jordan. And it's positive in the fact that maybe she'll go for the win and not worry about Jordan as much. But it's negative in the sense that maybe she won't be as prominent in the storyline this time around. But Tori always has she'll find someone to flirt with and have some sort of a showman's on. Like, she's an operator. She knows what she needs to do to get screen time. So yeah, I don't think it's a bad pick, Angelcake.
So the meta that I was going through when you picked Desi was, what was Chantel going to do? Because I knew that she didn't necessarily like Tori, but she has a good record recently. And she isn't excited to have on her team the person that
Johnny
I'm
all day,
going to pick.
Johnny all day.
because of what happened in World Championship, I knew Chantel was not the biggest fan of John A. So I was like, I wonder what she's going to do. Is she going to run it back with John A, see if she can get, or will she pick Tori? She did pick Tori this time. And so that means I'm going to pick John A, making that All-Stars 3 tandem of Wes and John A up at the top for me. She has not been eliminated. And I will say this right now. She has not been eliminated since she returning to the challenge in All-Stars 1. and I'm gonna keep riding that. I'm gonna ride that record all the way until she actually gets eliminated from a challenge season. I think she has a great social game. She didn't play well on World Championship, but Kellyanne isn't here, and I think that John A will indeed slay this season.
lovable Nikki in all caps. She forgot her caps on. She said, "Not again, Andrew." But I think it's a solid choice. What do you think, Chantel?
I mean, you guys know me well, and my order was even like begrudgingly. I had Tori as number 1. I had Johnny actually as number 2, and Desi as number 3. But if I had the choice to pick, I would have picked Desi first. You know what I mean? And so these are my top 3 picks. So
you're right on time, Ruby. I just want to say you're right on time. Don't worry. It's you just missed out on Chantel picking both Fessy and Tori as her first 2 picks. I know you're as shocked as we are, but it did happen here. But thank you, Rodrigo. Much appreciated. We really appreciate that. Yeah. So for me, I think Janae is a solid pick. I did not like seeing her go out of the last season the way that she did. I feel like Casey got that second shot, which everyone should have if their partner goes out. And just based on that alone, I would have shouted for her. But she was also very solidly within my top 4 female picks. She's my 3rd pick overall. I would have been happy with any of the 3. Like I said, I'm taking out personal feelings out of this one. I'm playing for the win this time, y'all.
Oh,
so I've got to come for it. I've got to bring the fire. All right, Drew, you're next with your second guy pick for the season. Who are you picking?
This is interesting because I'm trying to play the mind games, but also the chat is playing mind games with me, aka Chris, who is calling me out saying that there is a clear, in all caps, next male pick. So don't be silly. Yeah. Can I just say?
Oh my god!
At this point,
oh my god!
I don't know. I don't know who the next male pick is. Oh man. I feel like
thank you so much, Rodrigo. Really appreciate it. By the way, the support that you give with supers and things like that, always appreciated. Go straight back into the channel to make the channel grow, and so that we can bring more and more shows to the channel. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, back to you, Drew.
How about another $5? I need more time to stall while I consult or try to figure out these cryptic messages on the side.
What is this?
I know who they want you to pick.
Is this phone a friend? Is this like what is that? What was that game show back in the day where you could have like
Who wants to be a millionaire? Who wants to be a millionaire?
Yeah, what's going on here, Drew? Drew's panicking. He's crumbling under the pressure right now.
Or should we do the Jeopardy music like?
I am going to go. I'm going to go with somebody who feels like they need something to prove. I'm gonna go with Big Daddy Corey, and I'm gonna bring Corey on my team.
That's who they want you to pick.
That's a solid pick.
I'm gonna pick Corey. He hasn't been on in a while. I'm gonna root for him regardless. I would rather root for him while he's on my team. I guess I was kind of mulling it over because I don't know how much. I'm confused at what kind of game Corey is gonna play. Has he worked on himself? Has he kept up these relationships as well as? I can't rely on him for hookup points because he has so many kids now, and he's
only
he's
two, right? Or is there more?
He's an upstanding gentleman and a good man to his I think wife. Is she?
I don't know if they've done the wedding thing,
but I want to root for Corey, and I want to see him get his first win. And if he wins while he's on my team, I will be over the moon. So I'm gonna pick Corey, even though I don't have him as my next pick, my next up rankings, but I decided to go for Corey.
Wow, so you changed your rankings. I normally do that, Drew, and I have stuck to my rankings this time around. I'm like, you're not doing it to yourself again, Chris, because that's a losing strategy for me. I don't know, maybe it'll work for you because you're the mad scientist of drafts. You can do no wrong. You've got the Midas touch. I don't know if I can do that, but I will say Corey was my 3rd ranked coming into this. He was in the top 4 for me with the guys. And I agree with everything that you've said. I think he's got something to prove. I don't know how he feels about the vets kind of turning on him in his last season. But then a lot of those, I guess some of those vets are still around. But you know, he's got friends in Fessy. It seems like him and Fessy and Nelson have sort of squashed things between them. So I think he's got somewhere that he can work in there. He's obviously got Amanda there as well. There seems to be like a friendship between them as well. So who knows what he's going to do? But physically, he's good. My problem with Corey is and always will be there's a question mark when it comes to the mental stuff, right, Chantel? That's where he's
strategy.
weak.
He's got none.
Strategy as well.
Yeah. I mean, he's obviously a solid pick. He knows how to play the game. He gets decently far. I just don't know what kind of game he's going to play. You know, he started off being like Young Bucks, which was anti-vets and anti-bananas and stuff like that. And then that kind of went away. And then he was playing for his kids. And so I just don't know which version of Corey that we're going to get this time around and if it's going to work for him. But he's definitely strong. He's still really fit. And I can see him doing well. I don't know if I see him as the winner, but he is coming back with something that proves. So if he does win, finally, Corey. But he wasn't my next pick.
Kahuna here with a very hot take saying statistically Corey is one of the worst competitors ever. He's made a lot of finals. Like, but then Chris hitting back, there's like, all right. Well, Chris hitting back, they're saying, not while Josh Martinez is still on the board. Love the chat. The chat is so spicy tonight. I just absolutely love it, you know? All right. So let's move on to you, Chantel. You've got to pick the next guy pick. Who do you have as your second guy pick for the
now.
season?
I have no idea where anybody
Now
can
we're
go.
getting
I'm
into the
excited.
interesting part of the game. We're getting into the interesting part.
I can't go too far into my levels of hate for people. So I am going to go in a little bit more of a safe zone.
Oh.
Safe zone. I'm going safe zone.
Boo.
And I'm going to go
Pick Pauly.
Team Big Brother 20 and go with Tyler Crispin. Tyler is going to do well. Angela came on to the challenge. She did phenomenally well. They were dating and they met on Big Brother 20. Fessy also on Big Brother 20. He's been doing really well. We might not like him, but he does decently well on this show. And then he's gonna have he's gonna be good. He's good at shit. And I think that the fact that him and Angela broke up and now he's coming on the show, like I feel like he wants to prove that he is going to be really damn good at this game. I think he's going to have a built-in alliance. I think the Big Brother people are going to protect him. Like he's going to have Fessy in there. He's going to have Josh in there. And they are still really good at gaining numbers. I think even Alyssa is going to be in there as a newer Big Brother player. I just think that he's going to be put into a good position with numbers and he's going to be able to hold his own with competitions and the dailies. So I'm taking a risk here with Tyler, but I think that he's going to go deep. So I want Tyler.
You took him right from underneath me because I'm a Tyler fan. You know that. I thought he played a phenomenal Big Brother season. The first time he played. The second time he came in, his head was in the clouds. He was thinking about Angela being back at home and he was like a lovesick puppy playing the game, but still playing the game in that way, in that weakened state. He still found himself at the final 5 or 6. Yeah. Which is insane. Like, how good is this player? That when
I think he could have won 22 if he made a couple different decisions. Yeah.
100%, but his head wasn't in the game. And to me, that shows how good of a strategic player he is and how good he is with that social manipulation and how he plays in this competitive reality TV space, that he could play at 40% of his ability and still get so deep into that season. It speaks volumes of the capability of him. And we know he's good at challenges. In my opinion, he won Casey her season. Like Casey for those.
He lost. Like Casey didn't win, I would say,
100%. Because people felt so hurt by the fact that he built these deep connections with them and burned them. When Casey was just being who she is on the challenge, she's friends with everyone. She wasn't really controlling a lot of those votes. So they weren't blaming her for the moves. They were blaming Tyler for the moves. So for me, very solid pick. It was between Tyler and another person for me. Which I'm obviously going to pick next, but Tyler would have gone just ahead of that person because Tyler's got connections which this person does not have in the game. Tyler's got connections with the likes of Fessy. He's got connections with, because him and Fessy, by the way, played in the same season. So we know that they've got some sort of potential allegiance, and the fact that Fessy and Casey are so close now, Tyler and Casey are like best mates as well. That means that he's gotten in with some of the vets already. He's going to get protection. He's almost coming into the season, Angelcake, as an undercover vet with some of the connections that he could piggyback on. Now, will he get shot first when they have to start turning on each other? Probably. But will it buy him time in the game so he can find his footing, which other new players won't get? I think so. What do you think of this pick, Drew?
I can understand where the optimism for Tyler is. I just can't get it out of my mind how much people were thinking he was going to win season 22 of Big Brother, and he completely crumbled and was like wanting to leave 6 weeks in, and then was like slumping around the house, and then he decided to change his mind. And I understand that he's coming in wanting to prove something. He's coming in single, luckily. But I don't know. I like I mentioned with Casey, if Casey was in the game, I think I would be way more higher on Tyler. But Tyler was my right in the middle of the road for the men for me. He was number 6 for me. He was right behind Corey in my rankings.
Oh, I had him at 5 officially.
5.
Yeah.
I had him at 5 as well. So it means we're all kind of seeing him exactly where he's getting picked right now, because he's what, 1, 2, 3. I guess he's the 4th pick. Oh no, 5th pick as well. So yeah, it's kind of just where we thought he would be.
Very close.
Yeah. All right. So this next one, it's weird. I did not think I was going to come into a draft pick ever, picking this player. But when I did my prep earlier today, when I was like looking through like who are the players that are going to play, there's a few players I obviously will talk about later on, because I'm sure there's some people that are going to be shocked that I'm not picking some of the other players that I might want to do well this season. I just don't think that the deck is set for them to come into the season and do well, so I'm not going to go that direction. I'm sure that player is going to be a Sabotage. Like, I'd be shocked if that player is in the Sabotage, but we'll talk about that later on. The player I'm going to go here for this round is I'm going to stay with Survivor. I'm going to go with Chris Underwood as my next pick here in the draft. And the reason I'm picking Chris is because of the fact, firstly, it's Chris. Chris is back. Other Chris's. That's just a thing, right? It's a thing. But no, listen, Chris Underwood, when it comes to Survivor, and we're doing a power rankings for this very soon, he's my bottom ranked winner of Survivor of all time, because you can't rank him the way that you rank other winners, because he played a different game. He won a season called Exile Island, for those that are not aware, which meant that he was like the 4th person voted out, or just a Redemption Island, or whatever it was called, I forgot. And he had to go to this island and then fight his way back into the game. So he won a challenge to get back into the game, played what I believe is the perfect end game for the game that he played, but it's a game separate to the rest of Survivor. So because of that, I can't rank him high, and I don't like it's no hate to Chris. I just don't like the fact that they broke the game for him that season to come back and win it. But again, like I said, I'm taking my feelings out of it. Chris is a nice guy. Socially, he's good. A lot of people voted for him to win. He was really good at convincing people to give him an idol so that he could stay safe in the game, which was bizarre to me. He took the challenges head on to win the game. He took out the biggest threat at a fire-making competition. He won an immunity as well in the end game, I believe. So physically, he's pretty capable. He's coming into the season with Michelle, who's another winner. So I think there's that survivor winner mentality that they'll look out for each other. And this is the season for Survivor players to do well, because there's never been a season with more Survivor players coming into this. So you can't tell me that there's not going to be an alliance. And I kind of like him a little bit more than the other Survivor player that's up for grabs at this point. And we can talk about that later on when it comes to it. But taking a bit of a risk, but Chris and Tyler was just a bit better connected for me. But I'm not going to change my rankings. I had Chris at number 6. I'm picking up at number 6 here. Chantel, thoughts?
I mean, the reason why I didn't have him higher is because he hasn't played the challenge before. I haven't heard if he's a fan of the show. I don't remember his season, because I just remember I was so angry with how that season ended that, like, I don't even think I watched him get the win. I turned on the channel, and generally when you have, like, it's like the reunion, and then right at the top of the reunion, it says like the winner. And so like I put the wrong thing on. And so I did like, oh, I'm not going to watch the ending, like the last episode. I don't even know if I went back and watched it. So I guess I'm not a fan of his season and his
I get it.
That I'm not invested in him as a player. And I don't remember if he was good at stuff or, I just don't remember. So I don't know if
he was super likable. Like, this is the thing, and again, as I was saying, I'm not a hater of Chris the person. I'm a hater of the season that he won and the format that he won in. But he played the best game, and we can say this now because there was another opportunity for a certain Mrs. Natalie Anderson to go out there and replicate the win, and she couldn't do it. So he played the best season for that type of season, the Edge of Extinction, and I do think he was extremely likable. It's just the way that he won made Survivor old school fans very salty. But it seems like a lot of people are saying it's a bit of a sneak peek, so I don't feel too bad about it. And again, there's a few other players I could have picked, but I'll talk about the fact that I didn't pick them at this stage when we get to them. I don't want to give anything away at this stage. Drew, what's your thoughts on Chris for this pick? You watched this season as well, right?
Yeah, I watched the season. And because I watched the season, I had a really tough time pinpointing where Chris should be in this exercise. I lopped him into number 7, right behind Tyler, right in front of Bananas.
I had him 8.
But yeah, I mean, it was just a wonky kind of a Survivor season. I think because he played Survivor, it gives me a little bit more hope for him on the season than some of the other players that I have ranked below him. But I really just had a really tough time trying to figure him out. And yeah, that's all I can say about him. I don't know what else to say when lasering in on this kind of situation, because it's just a weird. Like you were saying about him being unlike all the other Survivor winners. I mean, he's unlike all the other Survivor players that have ever been on any of these shows, because of it's hard to try to gather and take whatever he did on that season and apply it to anything that was happening here.
And the entire Extinction was part of the jury too, which is also something that no other season had. So you're saying, or did Winners at War have that? All like everybody, everybody had it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I guess the other season.
Except for Sandra, right. But it was similar to the first season where if you quit Edge of Extinction, you weren't a part of the jury. But I did want to add one thing as well, which maybe a lot of people won't know about Chris. He's a massive fan of Survivor. Like, his dream was to go and play Survivor. He watched it since the first season. And I remember his exit interview with Rob Cesternino, where he spoke about the fact that it really got to him that people didn't really receive his season in a positive way. So I do think he's got that thing in common with Michelle, where she felt unworthy of her win. He probably feels in some ways unworthy of his win. So I do think he's got something to prove. I do think he's coming in with fire. And I think he's about to surprise. Who was the guy I picked? Jay for All Stars? He's my Jay pick. And it's in the exact same spot as well. I'm taking another gamble. I'm rolling the dice here.
I go Chris over Jay personally, but
yeah, that we'll see which one works better for me when we get to the season. But let's get into the next one here. I've got to pick a female, and the next one's an obvious one for me. I'm going back to the vets because I haven't got another vet here. So I've got 2 newbies. I know Desi is technically a vet, but I'm going with Michelle for my next pick. It's just a solid pick. I've said many a times here before on the podcast that I don't rate Michelle's strategic game as high as other Survivor fans do. I do think her social game is exceptional in Survivor, but I do think strategically she has been found out a few times now in the challenge, because she's now had to replicate a gameplay with the tag of a 2-time finalist in Survivor, a 1-time winner, and she hasn't really been able to translate that success over to the challenge. But I think that this season is the season for her to do it. Like I said earlier, there's more Survivor players in this season than there's ever been. Like, whenever her and Jay goes out to play these games, they're one of 2 Survivor players. Survivor players have a massive target on their back when they go and play. And I like this spot for Michelle. I think that she could go in there and do surprisingly well. She does have some connections within the main show now. The people from the main show, I think, will realize that Michelle is becoming a mainstay, so they probably will want to think about future seasons with her as well. So I just think she's building her social capital very slowly, and I like the spot for her. Chantal, what do you think?
I'm worried about Michelle just because, like, I came in with high hopes, and then my hopes were just sunk, and then they were sunk again and again. But I do think that she is capable of doing well. Like, we saw her win a few dailies with what's his name? Jay. And so I do think that it's possible for her to do well. I think that without having Jay there, I think she has a better shot because she was allowing
100%.
him to be influencing her game decisions and she wasn't standing true to what she was doing and she was making a little bit of enemies. But I think that she might be able to clean the slate and come back in. Now, I do worry about the drama between her and Amanda because I don't know if Amanda's going to let it go or if she's going to, like, I feel like there could be some fighting there and I could see that could be a little bit of dissension in the house and the game. What's going to go on with her and Fessy? I don't know. It could be good. It could be bad. Her, Fessy, Amanda could be good, could be bad, probably bad. So yes, you might get some fight points, but I can also see her having some enemies and people just being like, let's get rid of her. So it's troublesome. I'm worried about her, but obviously she is capable of going decently deep. So I'm interested to see it. I had her a little bit later.
Angelcake, what's your thoughts on Michelle's return here to the game?
Solid pick. I had her in the second tier, high up in the second tier, next to the top tier. So basically, this is going exactly how I have ranked in my rankings of 1 through 4. So I'm not totally surprised. There's 3 other women in my tier 2. So I'm happy that I'm going to get somebody in my tier 2 before the sabotage round. But Michelle was definitely high up on my list as well.
All right. On that note, Chantel, you're moving on to your second female pick. Who do you have?
Give me Michaela. Thank goodness.
Michaela, it is.
I mean,
chat's been going off about Michaela. Like they've been wanting Michaela on there for a while.
I've been wanting to
her?
watch her play this game. You know, the first time when she came, you know, that whole note situation happened and she kind of got herself in trouble. But she's a smart player and she was so smart on her first season or her season of Survivor, and it was her smart and her being able to strategize. That was what got her kind of kicked out of the game. And so I want to give her a shot here. I want to see her do well. I'm hoping that she's going to learn from her mistake in her first season of the challenge, learn from what Michelle has been doing. I'm sure she's been watching, and I really, you guys are so mean. Like, come on. Like, I said I was going to stay on Twitter. I didn't know I was like mute myself from this this live. I just think that she's coming in with something to prove, and I think that she is going to prove it. She was supposed to be on the last like on Ride or Dies with Corey L, if I'm not mistaken, but she wasn't able to do it. It was because her commitments, like, they were kind of you know, combating. But I'm happy to see that she was able to get time off of work and get on this season. So she's coming here with a vendetta, and I want her to slay. So Michaela.
Mega Elder Wand here took the words straight out of my mouth. Michaela and Jay on the same season needs to happen on the challenge. And that's something we've missed, because for those that are not aware, and I know that there's a lot of you who don't watch Survivor, Michaela and Jay were in an alliance in the same tribe when they got split into a new tribe, and Jay turned on her. And it has one of the coldest moments in Survivor history, where Michaela, after the vote is revealed, looks back up and says, or looks at Jay,
what?
and was it you? And Jay just looks at her with the most stone cold face and says, yes. It is one of the best moments. You need to go and Google that or check it on YouTube. I'm sure there's highlights of it. But the rivalry, I don't know if they have made up after the show, but they were not on good terms when they left Survivor. So this could even be a rivals pairing in the future, which maybe would not be so good for Michaela, but it would be good for Jay, because Michaela is a beast. We know that physically she's capable. The elimination that she went out in, she was carrying the person, I forgot who he was. He's irrelevant in any case by now. But she was carrying them on her back, trying to win that. Yeah, trying to win that for them. And they were just not pulling their weight. And I am happy for Michaela to come back. I'm obviously a big Survivor fan, but I did not have Michaela in this next tier of girls personally, because I just don't. I find her hard to place now at this stage. I think she can do well. I just don't know. She's a question mark for me at this stage. So that's kind of where I'm sitting with Michaela, but she probably would have been in the next group for me in any case. So not that far down. I had her ranked at 8th overall for me in my rankings. So
I had her at 7.
So not that far off from where you had her in any case. But Angelcake, what do you think of this pick of Michaela?
I like it. I like Michaela for this exercise for this season. I mean, technically, she's barely gotten her feet wet on the challenge, and I think that she could come in kind of playing a little bit of both sides of the fence here. Maybe play ball on both ways. I mean, you were talking about how Survivor has a good bit of numbers, and and maybe that her and she can go way farther, maybe even episode 2 at this point in this challenge. I like this pick. She was in the tier 2 basically next to Michelle, so I mean this was a really good spot for her to be chosen at. So I do like the Michaela pick here.
Speaking about that, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 Survivor picks in a row. If you look at that there towards the
We can't
end,
let you
actually,
have
I
them
guess
all,
3.
Chris. We can't let you have them all.
You're I'm trying to be like a Survivor Mon collector, got to catch them all, but you're sort of stopping me from being able to do that. Lena, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate the support for the channel. Like I said, anything that anybody gives, it's never needed, but always appreciated. And we'll go straight back into the channel as we continue to grow the channel here. And obviously, I don't get to talk to the wider group of people that have been here since day one all the time, because I don't always have Drew and Chantel on the channel. But obviously, you guys all know I appreciate you so much. You've been with this channel since day one when I started it, and we had 20 or 30 subscribers, and we're well and truly on our way to 2,000 subscribers, which is very exciting for me. That's a goal I've set by the end of the year. I'd love to be there. So thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you all, as always. All right. Next pick here, Angelcake, is a very important one because it's going to be the last pick before we go into Sabotage round. What do you have in store for us? Who are you going to pick?
So this is interesting because I feel a little peer pressured here. Because I came in thinking that I was going to pick pretty much every MTV person that I can because I know them the most. However, when looking at how the picks have gone so far and how y'all are talking about Survivor Strong and how good these players can be and how all this other stuff, I feel like I need to jump into the Survivor bandwagon here. And this person is in the tier 2. I like this person from their season. Maybe I feel like they should have won, maybe. But either way, I feel like I'm going to take a leap of faith because I do have a pretty solid, I think, foundation with Wes, John A, and Corey, that I'm going to leap into the Survivor pool and take Cassidy, who I have pretty much dead center on all the women, on the women's side of things. I liked how she played Survivor. I liked how she was able to play that game. And I feel like if she can get in good with Survivor and maybe use her social game on this season with maybe some of the vets and getting good, maybe she could go far. So I'm going to pick Cassidy out of obligation and also FOMO of not having a Survivor player, because I feel like I'm not going to get a Survivor player if the next come around. I'm not going to get any Survivor players, and y'all are talking about how great these Survivor players are, so I'm picking her.
These Survivor women are fire this season. Like, these are some strong women coming into this game, so I don't blame you at all. Cassidy is a firecracker. She is someone who played an extremely good social game, so I know from that point of view she'll do well. There is the Survivor Strong thing that I am sure is going to happen because they looked out for each other the first time USA was out there. I just don't know if the vets will be able to penetrate that. I think there's 6 vets in the men and female side, so it's kind of half and half. So there is still a chance that the newbies could play their own game. If they watched the World Championship, they would now know that that is a possibility that you could do it. They'd probably say World Championship fumbled it because they could have pushed all of the vets out of the game and they didn't get to that point. So, but then again, there's this whole team element that could throw things around. So what do I know? But I do like Cassidy. I don't think she should have won her season like you
yeah,
Drew.
Chris, can you, Chris in the chat is saying that you are a Gabler truther.
I am a Gabler. I am a Gabler fan. I do think Gabler deserved to win that game. I think Cassidy played a decent game, but I don't think that she.
Are
had
you a
anything...
flat earther as well?
No. But Gabler 100%. Based, if you take emotion out of it, he played a good game, and he actually made some of his own moves. And that's the problem Cassidy had, difficulty at the end explaining her own moves based on Gabler and the fact that he could. And I think that's where it came down to. And they underestimated him. But that doesn't mean I don't like Cassidy. I like Cassidy as well. Because you know how the world these days are. If you're a Gabler fan, you have to hate Cassidy. Or if you're a Cassidy fan, you have to hate Gabler. I'm not like that. I like them both. So I don't think it's a bad pick, Drew. I would have probably picked her next, depending on where some of the next picks will go. I guess I do have, after the Sabotage, I've got the next round. So I most likely would have picked her next. Chantel, what's your thoughts on Cassidy?
I mean, okay, so I liked Cassidy for sure. I felt like the final three, I guess I didn't feel like any of them really pulled me to them screaming winner. And so I feel like Gabler was the most shocking I found. Anyways, so I don't know about how I know there's a lot of people that are saying like they're her 43 winner and that she was the best winner of the season. I just don't know if I fall into that camp.
I think it's the Twitter hype around, they wanted it to be her, and they were really going in the fact that Gabler just didn't represent what they wanted that season to be. And I think they were really pushing towards Cassidy. I really think that, but I don't agree with Twitter though. Like, I look at the game.
What about
in fact,
Threads?
I like to look
Do you
at the
agree
game
with Threads?
with what Threads, like Reddit
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It's
No.
the same as Twitter.
Are you out of the loop, Chris? There's a new Twitter's done. Twitter's dead.
Oh, is it done?
We're on Threads now.
All right. Well, we'll have to,
Literally.
you're gonna have to hook a brother up afterwards. Like I don't know anything about this. So.
It's like brand new. It just started. It's kind of like an Instagram interface with Zuckerberg like heading at the Twitter killer. And
Right.
so like everybody's actually moving over to
So
Threads
that's why
now.
because I've seen that there's this, because I've been off social quite a bit in the last couple
Yeah.
of weeks, I will say that. But that's why Zuckerberg and Elon Musk is going to fight in the UFC right now because of this stuff happening. Because I've seen,
Yeah.
and I'm like, surely that's not true. Surely it's
I
not
don't know
true.
if they're actually gonna fight, but like this is the fight that's happening. Is like he's
Yeah.
coming in to take over and with Threads, and so far I like Threads better. So, anyways, that's
You know what's up,
Ben?
Ben? Great name, by the way. I love the name Ben.
So yeah, I think she's like
That just went over everybody's head.
Ben. Oh,
Nah,
you
I
said
knew what
Ben.
you were
the name
saying.
Love
Ben.
every Ben.
Anyways.
Ben, especially if they're a survivor Ben.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think she's like a pretty decent pick. I would have had her maybe next time around. Just because she's new to the challenge. I don't know if she's a fan or not. I don't know if she's watched previous seasons. She did win a few immunity challenges, which is awesome, but I just don't know if it's going to be able to translate to this season, or to this game show, like this style of competition. So I'm interested to see how she's going to do. I don't know if I would be picking her this high for me, but I'm interested to see how she does. So go, Drew.
From memory, she was equal for the most immunity wins, and it's funny how sometimes Survivor fans can be so interesting. One season immunity wins matter, and another season it doesn't matter. If they like the player who won a lot of immunities, it matters. If they don't
it's kind of
the
like
player who
even
won-
with Heidi, like giving
Yeah.
away her immunity and doing fire. Oh, that's supposed to be the winning move when Chris did it, but it wasn't the winning move
Yeah,
that she did it.
exactly.
But if Cassie had done it on her season, she would have won that. Anyways, yeah, exactly.
you get what I'm saying, Chantel. We're
Uh-huh.
on the same wavelength.
So yeah,
Alright.
I mean, I don't know how she's gonna do, and so I'm just nervous. But I understand Drew wanting to get in on the Survivor game. If the Survivor people are gonna be strong and sticking together, like you want to have one on your team. So that's good.
I'm very intrigued to see your rankings because I'm looking at the rest of the people that are on this list, and I don't know who you would take over Cassidy.
Well, I
which
would
I'm
be
very
thinking
excited.
of points, right?
Okay.
I was kind of sometimes I was thinking of like, who's best the strategy, and then who was points, and then
I think you
so
and I
there's-
are looking at the same person next, and you're not going to get her, Chantel.
We'll
That's all I'm
see.
saying. Just based on that, I'm like, you leave my confessional queen alone, all right? You leave her alone. Who are we
I'll make a deal with
sabotaging, Drew?
somebody.
So I think this round going into the
Drew
sabotage.
starts the sabotage, and I guess Drew sabotages me
All right.
with the man.
So I give
think
you a
Chantel
man
can choose-
sabotage.
Yeah. So Chantel, I think because you're in the middle, you were kind of disadvantaged. So let's give you a little bit of power in this thing because you were like in the middle from the start. You can choose if you want Drew to sabotage you with a man or a female. And depending on who, I guess the next one's going to be a man automatically, right?
Yeah.
Do we keep it that open? Let's do it. Screw it. We'll give you a bit of power. You can choose if you want him to sabotage you with a man or a female. And that would automatically mean that Drew
You're
would
sad.
sabotage me
With the opposite.
with the opposite. Yep.
Okay. Let's
Give you a little
look
bit of
at
power.
this. Oh, well, I didn't think I was going to have so much power.
Yeah, we do things on the fly here. I want to be fair to
Okay,
everyone.
so what would Drew here do? How would he want to sabotage me? I think if I was doing women, he would choose. I think I would like for Drew to sabotage me with a dude. Give me a guy.
Oh no.
Please.
Okay.
You were going to sabotage her with a man in any case. You were like ready to go a few seconds ago. And now you're like, no, I can't do it.
Well, I do like the idea that the middle person gets to choose the sabotaging thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that aspect because it gives them a reward for getting second place at least. But this is a little bit difficult. Oh, gosh, I'm looking at my number 11 and 12 for the men. And yeah, you know what? I'm going to give you. Gosh, why? I'm gonna give you. So Chris can't have any more Survivor players. I'm gonna give you Sebastian.
I like how you're
Okey-dokey.
sabotaging both of us. I like that. He's like, how can I get like the maximum amount of, squeeze the most amount of juice out of this sabotage? That hurt, Drew. That hurt. That's what I'm going to say. Sabotaging me
I'm
as
glad.
well.
I'm glad.
I mean, for the same reason, like I don't know how well he's going to do, and he's a little bit silly, but he was a good challenge competitor, if I remember correctly. Weren't they people like saying like he's like the next Aussie? So maybe he's going to be a really good swimmer, and like maybe he's going to have some like surprising skills that he's probably not even aware of and be really good at some of these things on the challenge. I did have him in my 11th spot, so definitely a sabotage worthy person here. Is he still with the girl? I think he's still with the girl that he like met on Survivor.
Who knows? I don't think anybody's kept tabs on Sebastian. He's been so far off the reality TV radar, living on an island somewhere probably with this girl. I never actually thought we would see him back on TV. I don't think he's a likable guy, but from memory, he just did not get the strategy part of the game. So I just don't know. Like, he's all about friendship. So I don't know how he's going to translate into this game. He's getting in there with a pool of sharks. And the only potential positive that I can see for him is the fact that there is strength in numbers. Yeah, exactly. That I can't think of anything else off the top of my head that makes me feel comfortable about him doing well on this season. He was my number 11 as well. So definitely a good pick. He was the one Survivor player I wasn't going to touch today. But,
you
how
don't
it goes
have
sometimes.
to.
I don't have to.
He's the one player that when he was announced, I didn't remember who he was, and then like 2 months later, when I went back and was rechecking it up, I forgot that I looked him up, and then I re-looked him up, and I went, "Oh, this guy." When I looked up his Wikipedia page, it didn't seem like he won any individual immunity awards. He got 5th place on his season. I don't know how. So to me, I don't know what to make of him. So I would rather not have him on my team, with him being in my number 12 spot, and I'll give him to somebody else. So
I didn't see what you said, Adrian.
Survivor.
You're forgiven. Glenna says, what a season he is from. I feel like I got to remember him. He's from Ghost Island, from memory. That's the season he was. But he is definitely, like Willie said, a bit forgettable. And he's a nice guy. So, I mean, it's not that he's a bad, like, he just didn't. I don't remember him being strategically good, and that's why I'm feeling a little bit flaky on him. Drew, I'm going to stay with you, and I'm going to let you finish off your sabotages and give me the female sabotage now while you've got the mic. So just go into it.
Wow.
Give me, let's rip the Band-Aid off and get Drew's sabotages out of the way. Who are you throwing my way?
I'm going to give you. This is also a really tough spot, but I feel like there's one clear person that I fail is like at number 12. I don't care if she's going to go far or not. I just don't want her on my team, and I do not want to see her on Chantel's team. So if you're going to give me this, Well, I mean, I would have given her to Chantel, but now I don't want to give her to Chantel. It's gonna be Amira. Amira. She
Yeah,
was
I mean,
like the first voted out. I think she was the first voted out of Big Brother her season, but she wasn't the
oh,
first
wow.
to leave her season. Yeah, she's going to be looking to try to make it longer than a week. So we'll see if she can break her record. But I just remember her being part of the anti-Taylor crowd. I couldn't believe that she was on this season. So have fun with Amira.
I was drawing blank on her, but I actually did watch that season for the first 3 weeks, and then the bullying of Taylor got so much, and I was like, I'm in my struggle to watch Big Brother era right now. I'm really struggling, and the last couple of seasons, my interest just hasn't been there. So seeing the behavior of the people in there, I was just like, I don't need this toxicity in my life. I'm going to bow out. I'm not going to be a part of it. And I do remember her being a part of the Mean Girls, I believe, with Alyssa, who's also on this cast. So I wasn't going to pick her highly. She was 11th on my list as well. So again, I think it's a good sabotage, Chantel. I don't know if there's anything else you can add on someone that left the game so early.
Well, I think with Amira, she kind of just got outplayed by like people coming together and like, alliances forming and being able to influence some people with making some decisions. So she was actually decent strategically, but she was a recruit. So she didn't know Big Brother that well at all. And she thought she was playing a better game than she was. So I'm hoping though that since she's coming back here, that she's kind of started watching a little bit of competitive reality shows, but she doesn't know anything about that world. So I think it's actually a really good sabotage she hasn't proven to do well in her first season. We know that she's a recruit. And we don't know whether or not she has been watching the challenge or knows anything about the challenge. So yeah, I don't know how she's going to do. And so the unknown is enough for me to not want her on my team. So
that's fair.
Thanks for taking him.
Chantel, you're next, and we're going to keep the power with you. You can choose. Do you want to go male or female for Drew? And remember, whoever you give to Drew, you will do the opposite for me in the next round.
Right. Can you just pull it down a little bit just so we can see Drew's people up?
Drew's people. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I want to give him a lady.
Go for it. Who are you giving to Drew?
I'm giving Drew the other half of the Mean Girls. I'm in my 12th position on this draft, and that is Alyssa Snyder. I do not think that she will do well in this game. I do think she will probably make out with Fessy and or Tyler. She will have some sort of showmance potentially, but she looks
like
down
Angela.
There.
She kind of looks like Angela.
She doesn't really, but yeah, like pretty
on that photo in any case.
But, I just don't have any faith in her going down into the sand and coming out. So like, I just don't.
Is she a girly girl?
She's a girly girl. Yeah. Like she has no fight, like as I've seen. I don't even think we saw her like working out or anything like that. So she's not a physical girl. At least Amira, she is more physical. Like I believe I remember seeing her like working out when she was on Big Brother. So physical athleticism is part of her Amira's, daily regime. But Alyssa, I think that she's just a girly girl. Bikinis and boys.
Drew, there's a lot of stepping going on that side, not a lot of talking. What's happening? Talk to us.
I'm so upset. She was my 11th pick.
Who was your 12th? Do you still have them?
It was Amira.
Amira's 12. Right, sorry.
So Alyssa, I was gonna say Angela. Alyssa S was number 11 for me. Super. I don't know what to say. I was very bummed, annoyed watching her play Big Brother or whatever she was calling whatever she was doing on Big Brother.
10 seconds.
Yeah, that's also
pool floaty.
Yeah, that was also something else. I mean, she is from Florida, so that's
Gators?
something.
Is that a Florida thing?
She's the second Alyssa to be on the season, so that's something else.
That's gonna be confusing.
She won $5,000.
You reckon?
So that's good. But yeah, it's just
they're friends.
just so unfulfilled to see her play a game or whatever. So I mean, seeing her on this cast list, I'm like, what? Why? And now she's on my team. So go team.
Yeah, I've got nothing to add on her. Like, I don't remember much about her. I just, like I said, I know she was a part of that clique, and that's pretty much it.
If you
I
watch
remember
the
her
season,
being.
you wouldn't know much about her. So don't even worry about it.
So I don't feel like I'm missing out. I feel like this is a good sabotage for me as well, Chantel, because I don't want people that I don't really necessarily know much about. And she's one of those people. So you took her away. But I'm sure you're going to hand that next person to me right now. Who are you going to give me as a guy, Chantel? Because we're staying with you and you're sabotaging me with a guy.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go. I think I'm going to have to stay with the season with somebody that I don't want to be forced to have on my team, and I don't want to root for him.
Yeah.
I have him in my 12th position, and I know that we're not supposed to be playing emotionally, but I just can't see myself having him on my team. So I'm going to put Monty Taylor on your team, Chris. That is who you get from me.
As soon as I said, I don't want people I don't know, I was like, Chris, shut up. You're giving the game plan away.
Well, he was my 12th pick anyways. I was just trying to think otherwise, like, is someone going to be worse? I'm like, I don't know. I think that we'll just go with that guy.
Yeah. Now, listen, the one positive I know about it, wasn't he like the runner-up in his season? Like, he got to the end? So, I mean, must have been doing some things right that I just never saw. So I'm taking positive from that. Maybe he can go out there and do something right on this season. Again, I don't know. I'm not I'm not a Monty Stan. I'm trying to look for the positive here, Drew. Help me. What's the thoughts on this one?
Well, I had Monty way low on my rankings as well. So I mean, I think this is a pretty good sabotage. I had him a little bit higher than the I mean, my 10 and 11 are basically the same person. So he was in my third to last spot, essentially. And it's only because that there are other Big Brother players on the cast. So I was counting him a little bit more connected than the two players that I have ranked lower, and then Sebastian. So yeah, I think this is a pretty good sabotage. I don't know what he could do. I mean, as long as he just keeps his impressions, quote unquote, impressions to a bare minimum, I will be happy about that. But I think this is a good sabotage.
Do you think he's got the ability to look at his season and the stuff that he did wrong and to change coming into the season? Do you think he would have taken note of this? Was there any backlash or criticism that he had to face when he came out of the game? Or did people just leave him alone? Like, do you think he might be aware, listen, I shouldn't be falling into the same traps? Or just does he not have that,
I don't think he's been self-reflective. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he knows that he's not well liked for sure.
Interesting. And it's interesting that, the challenge chose him, similar to how I've been, I know some behind the scenes stuff that they were interested in problematic people for the next season of the challenge as well. They seem to not shy away from getting, problematic people on the show. But moving on to the next one here, Chantel, this is where, this is what we trained for. This is what we planned for. You've got the ability to give me a sabotage to Drew and to you, and to choose who do I give what to. Do I give Drew a man sabotage? Do I give him a female sabotage?
Power.
So because you had the power to choose that order in this section. So
I want you
think
to
about this. Where can I do damage?
Oh wow! Wait.
Like to Drew, obviously.
Wait, so it's me and Drew that are left, right? So you have.
Yeah. So what do you not want to receive?
Would you have to give me a female and Drew a male?
Is that what you want me to do? Because you've got the power.
No, because it won't work out.
Yeah, you give me a man. She gave me Alyssa S.
Right. You have to,
so
just to make.
All right, right. So it's predetermined. Sorry, my bad. It is 2:30 a.m. on this side here. I'm not thinking clear. Okay, let me have a quick look here and see what I'm going to do. So I'm going to give you a female, Chantel, as my first sabotage.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies first.
Yeah, listen, I don't think that Chantel might look at this person as a sabotage, but And I always feel like when I get to Chantel, I'm like, but I have to because I don't want them in my team. I'm going to give you Tiffany. I know there's upside about Tiffany,
Mm-hmm.
and the positive with her is that she could do well strategically. She was a strategic mastermind of her season, but I just think physically she is so out of her league when it comes to this cast and people that are so much younger, more in shape, that I don't think she is going to be there long. But if she is there for a bit, I think she could still do damage. But the other three girls there, I just couldn't give you as a Sabotage. That's the best option that I've got at this point when it comes to giving you a Sabotage, Chantel. Drew, thoughts on this Sabotage before we go back to Chantel?
I thought you could do worse. I thought you could have done much, much worse, in my opinion. I had Tiffany at 8 just because I feel like she may have learned something from her USA one season. It's only 8:30 here, but my brain is still fried. But I wasn't high on Tiffany. I won't say like I think she's coming in as like a beast of a competitor. I'm definitely like more cautious on her because I was so bulk on her in the season 1, thinking that she was just gonna just dominate the social game. But I think it's solid, but I think you could have done much better of giving her bigger Sabotage. But I can see where you're coming from, and I like where your head's at.
All right.
And
Chantel, what's your thoughts? Because I know you're a fan. Chantel, you're a supporter of Tiffany,
I'm a
right?
fan.
I actually, I just want to say before I go in, just so people know, because people might be like, Chris is a hater of Tiffany. I actually really, really like Tiffany. I think she's got a super cool personality. And I do like, I know you're not a fan of Cody Califuri, but I watch Cody Califuri and Derek's podcast, The Winner's Circle, and she's part of that. And the three of them together are a match made in heaven. They're so good as a podcasting trio. So I'm actually a fan of hers. I just don't think she's going to do well in this season, Chantel.
I think that it's possible for her to do better this season than the last season. Well, I mean, it's a good Sabotage. I had Tiffany in 11 for me, even though I think that she's really good strategically. I'm hoping that she's able to make some good connections. Like she's not friends with Desi, right? Her and Desi had a falling out in All Stars 1. Not All Stars, sorry. CBS.
Somewhat. Desi and Tiffany were very close, and then Desi kind of stopped being a part of the like let's make Cinco jealous or Cache jealous kind of vibe. And so I think that there was a little bit of a falling out, but I don't think it was like I don't think it'll turn into something here.
Yeah, I don't know if Big Brother's going to be, well, actually Big Brother could end up being strong if Josh decides to bring in those numbers with like the veteran Big Brother people, so she might get protected in that sense, because there's a lot more Big Brother people and Big Brother people that are MTV vets this season, so she might get to be protected in that way if it becomes like Big Brother versus Survivor. So she might be able to skate by, but if she goes down, I don't think she's coming out. So
Dreadful Ruby here says that she no longer podcasts with him. She does a podcast with Derek and Chada now. That could be fun as well. I actually just think that Tiffany she's a natural podcaster. Like, she is really good. I don't know if both of you have ever listened to her, but she is good at what she does with that. So I'll
she's
definitely check
better
it out.
than both of them, in my opinion.
Yeah, like if they lost her, they lost like the secret sauce that made that trio really good, I thought. But anyways, so that's sad to hear because I enjoyed listening to the three of them together because they all brought a different balance to the show. All right, so we're going to go into the next Sabotage, and it is mail time here. And
can I just say you're doing a great job in this draft, Chris. You're doing a great job. Your head is you're just ready to go. You're good. You're looking.
It's not going to work,
dapper.
Drew. I'm giving you someone that I think, like, people may have come into this because they know that I wanted this person to come back and play the game, but I just feel like they're set up to be turbo this season, and that's why I'm going to put Paulie in there. Paulie's coming here with no friends. He's only got enemies. He's got people who, from what we've heard in podcasts, were the reason that he didn't come back onto the show because they said that stuff happened outside of the game. Those people are still here, and I don't think things have been forgotten. If Paulie came here with Cara Maria, if he came here with Turbo, if he came here with people that he could work with, maybe I would have felt higher on his chances. The other problem that I have with Paulie is that he also, similar to Turbo, and I feel like Turbo got this idea from Paulie in the offseason because they hang out a lot. When Turbo came back, he was willing to throw himself in there to prove something to who knows who. And Paulie had this whole philosophy when he was on a podcast with Mike Lewis not that long ago. He said, whenever I come back, I'm going to throw myself into every elimination to prove a point that I can take everyone out of eliminations. Well, if he does end up doing that, I think it might be a short trip for him this time around because people will very, very easily throw him down there. I do think he's got weaknesses. I think the best players in the challenge do not just go in there. Jordan is one of the best. He's tried that. That failed for him when he threw himself down there as a rookie. And I don't think Paulie is better than Jordan. So I think based on that, I see too many red flags around him. I would just, by the way, love to be wrong because I think that the challenge kind of needs Paulie's energy to fight back against the Fagation Alliance and everybody being friends. Like, I like people coming in there and shaking things up, but this is not it for Paulie. This is not going to be his redemption era, in my opinion. I don't see it happening for him here on his own. Chantel, what do you think of this Sabotage?
I think it's a good sabotage in the sense that, yeah, he has no friends. Nobody's going to care if he goes down, but he also is capable of winning stuff. So it could be, it's scary to have him as a sabotage because like he could start winning dailies and then like having a lot of power. Like I could see him just going up against everybody for a while. I don't think that he's going to be capable of winning the season, but I could see him taking a lot of people out because he is pretty decent and he is really coming back to prove something. So it's a good sabotage because I'd be scared of him having him on my team, but it could be a lucky sabotage because he could end up doing well. So I guess he's too much of a wild card to take the chance on. So let Drew take a chance on him.
Drew, thoughts?
So I'm going to look at the positives. Paulie has done 3 seasons. He's gone to 2 finals. And that's a great record. He hasn't played in a while, so we'll see what happens. Also, I want to say is that Paulie was in my top 5 of players because I feel like he can bring a good amount of confessionals. He can bring in some fights. And I think he's going to want to start something. He's going to want to make his name known in this house. He's not going to like hide behind and be a wallflower and be like, oh, this is my first time back in 3 years. Somebody else do something. He's going to come out and fighting. So, I mean, even if he goes out in episode 3, I feel like he's going to get more points. He could get more points than Bananas, who could make it to like episode 8 or whatever, I feel like. So that's how I feel. So I'll take him as a sabotage. I think out of all the players left, I'm okay with having Paulie as a sabotage.
Agreed.
Looking on the bright side.
Yeah.
Also, I did a 2.5 hour documentary and did a lot on Paulie, so I feel like we have this connection.
Love Paulie
now. I don't love him, but we have this
him.
connection. We have this, and I'm actually very surprised that Chris didn't use this to like be like, yo, Cara, like we're one and the same.
No,
Look,
he's
Cara,
he's competition.
look who's the real person. Look who's
the
really a part
competition.
of your cult. I have
I
have your boyfriend. I have the
We-
one
we-
you want to marry.
We need to get him out of the way. You know, he's standing in between us. No, listen, when it comes to Paulie, like I said, I do think that energy that he brings is needed. And I know some people don't like him. Others do. He's a polarizing character. I'm happy he's on the season. I just don't think it's going to go well for him. Similar to how it didn't go well for Turbo. I was happy to have Turbo on the season, but it was also not the season for Turbo. So, let's see. I'd love to be wrong, but I feel okay with that sabotage. Drew, over to you. You've got the next male pick. Who are you picking?
This is rough because I have somebody that I love in my heart, and then there's somebody that is probably good for points. Man, I've had so much energy towards me. Like I feel like I started off on Rocky, that you guys started to pick, and then now the crowd has gotten back on my side. And for most of 38 and maybe the World Championship, I was the heel in our talks for majority of this time. And you know what? I'm gonna be back with the heels. Give me Josh Martinez, everybody. Give me that, Josh. Boy. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. He is connected. He has been working out with Rachel Robinson. He has the connections. And you know what? You know what I said way back when I did the USA 2 cast rumored thing? I was like, looking at this cast, I feel like Josh could go deep into the season. And I'm backing up those claims. I believe Josh can go far. So let's go. Let's go, everybody. Yeah, spam the chat. Spam the chat that I'm the worst.
I feel like Drew took it personal when I said, Chantel, you're going to be the villain this one. He's going for the villain title here, picking
tides have turned.
Picking him who shall not be named. Yeah, listen, my thoughts on Josh has always like he's good socially because he does get deep into the game. The people who play the game with him love him. We, the viewers, don't always see it. We see the persona that he puts on for the TV show. But outside of that, I think that he's got a lot of friends within the house. Like, he's good with the vets. He's playing with his boy Fessy. I don't think he's going anywhere early. My problem for Josh is just if he does go down into an elimination, he just loses his head sometimes. And no matter how much he trains, you cannot always train for mental strength and staying calm when the pressure is down. You know, like, everybody's got a plan until they get hit in the face. And Josh is that guy, when he gets hit in the face, he panics, in my mind. The other thing about this is, well, we've spoken about this, no matter how fit you get, and I've got a lot of respect for him, because the guy's actually, you know, yes, respect for him, hold it there. But for him to train and change his physique, that's not easy to do what he's doing. He's putting in the work, and I respect that. So I'm not angry at him coming back. I want him to go out there and prove a point. But if you're not an athletic person, you can be the fittest person in the world, but still be uncoordinated. And that's my problem with Josh. I just don't think he can train for that. So no matter how badly he wants to be a champion, I still don't see it. But I'm happy to be proven wrong, Chantel. What do you think of this?
Oh, okay. I would think hold on. But he's been working out. So I'm always saying about Anissa, like, if you're going to come back season after season, can you please get yourself into shape if you want to have a shot at winning? And so this is the first time I've actually seen him really put in the work with his body to get him in physical shape to hopefully get to the end. So he's actually capable of going pretty deep into the game with his social game. He's well connected. He has his best guy friend Fessy there. He has Tori he's probably going to be working with him as well, and a gazillion Big Brother people here. And so I just feel as though he is going to be able to be the ringleader. Like, he is good socially. As much as he's annoying, he gets people together. And I think that he could be the ringleader of the Big Brother Alliance. And so he was definitely going to be my next pick, just because obviously I know that Drew wants to go with people that have been on the show before over people that have not. But he is going to be decently connected, and he's been putting in work in his body. So I could see us seeing a different Josh than we've seen before. So let's see how it goes.
Who will win between him and Wes in the rivalry, Chantel?
Wes.
The right answer was, what rivalry? It's never going to happen. No matter how much you want it to happen.
There is no rivalry. That's true. There's no
Kahuna,
rivalry.
It's never happening. No matter how much you want it to happen. It's not happening, okay? All right, enough on Josh. Let's move on to your next pick here, Chantel. You've got two amazing race gentlemen left here. We've just seen them in the last 2 seasons of The Amazing Race. I think there is going to be a lot of people in the live who don't know who they are, so we'll try and enlighten them a little bit. Who are you going to pick out of Louis and Dusty? And they're almost exactly the same, but from different seasons. It's actually quite, ironic that they're the last 2 picks.
100%. Well, Chris,
I see a lot of similarities.
Because I love you, I'm going to let you have your bestie, and I'm going to take Luis. Now, Luis is going to be new to the challenge, but he was just like a really bright light on his season of The Amazing Race. I really loved him and Michelle's relationship. I loved how like happy and inspired they were, and they were always just so positive. I also love the fact that he is really active on. I mean, it could be because his season was airing, but he was in my chats and always like having positive things to say. So I'm like, hey, like you message me. So I'm gonna support you here, and I'm gonna take you here on my team. I'm hopeful that he will do really well. I'm worried that he might be a little bit of a fish out of water since he doesn't really have any nobody from his own season there, only one Amazing Race person there. But he's very likable. And so I could see him getting in with people that have some power numbers. So I'm rooting for Luis. I feel like he might actually know maybe some of the Florida people, and maybe Tyler, because like, you know, he lives close to Florida. And I think he's been, when he was still with Angela, he might have been in some of those like parties and stuff like that. So he might already know like Alyssa, Lopez, and some of the other people from All Stars 1. So I'm hoping that's going to bode well for him this season, that he has a little bit more connections than I think the last guy does. So
yeah,
that's my thoughts.
I feel a little bit disappointed for The Amazing Race that they don't have at least 2 more players there. And again, they kind of almost feel like fish out of water, similar to how last season we had only 2 players. I would have loved to have seen Kayla maybe come back. James, I thought, added a lot to
Kayla was an alternate. I was like, why?
I saw that. Yeah. I mean, I would have just put them straight back in. I think having 4 Amazing Race players would have helped them a lot. So, you know, funny enough, you mentioned Dusty. Obviously, yeah, I'm happy with that. Me and Dusty have spoken a few times. I've actually interviewed him here on the channel after his Amazing Race season, but I've also spoken to Louis quite a bit. And at one point, Lewis, you know, he told me, by the way, chat, it's okay to call him Louis. So, you know, don't at me. Don't at me. He's a really nice guy as well. So I like them both. They're really cool guys. That's why I said, like, there's the fact that they bring a lot of energy and competitive spirit. I think there's similarities between the two of them. I do think from an athlete standpoint, Dusty has trained for ultra marathons, runs a lot more long distance. He's a great swimmer. Obviously, we got him in his swimsuit there because I couldn't get a better picture of him where he's on his own. He's always socially with other people in photos. But, you know, Dusty is someone that I think could do well. And also Louis. I think they're very similar. The big question mark on both of them for me is just, you know, how are they going to do in this game as 2 Amazing Race players? And will the fact that both of them went to a final, I believe both of them got second in their seasons as well.
Luis got third.
Or third. So Dusty got second, Lewis got third, but they both made the finals. And
Dusty, no, they got 4th, I think.
They were,
they both got third.
Both third.
Oh,
there
third? Okay, sorry.
See, Angelcake, there's some similarities, all right? But how's that going to translate to this? I don't know. I do know that Dusty, you know, he's been wanting this. He's hungry to go out there and do the challenge. Like when Kayla went out there, he was talking to me quite a bit about how he wants to go on the challenge. He feels like the challenge is the type of show that he could compete in and do really well. So the one thing that's a question mark on Dusty, and I'm talking about both of them at the same time, is that I feel like out of the 2, he will get rattled and maybe a little bit more hyped quicker than Louis. Like I think like Louis will still find the joke in something or roll with the punches, where Dusty, I think he has got that energy that if you cross him, you don't even get on his bad side, and he might just, you know, get a little bit, you know, have his teeth out. And I don't know if he can keep his cool. I don't know, but I'm more than happy to have him. I'm actually gutted that both of them fell this late. I think that they would not have fell this late if we didn't have the sabotage round. Clearly, because we didn't sabotage them. But yeah, good 2 picks. Angelcake, what's your thoughts on these last 2 players and why are they not similar in your mind?
So when I said that I was going between my heart and my head pick when I was picking Josh, is that Lewis is Team Miami. I loved him on his season of The Amazing Race, and that was who I was going to pick if I didn't pick Josh. But I decided to go with points. I decided to go with possible fighting and argument. I don't know what. I think it's the numbers disadvantage because I love I would say Dusty and Lewis more so than Josh, than I will ever love Josh.
I get
But
it. Yeah.
when taking a look at the game points and stand points and how many points am I going to lose with Paulie and Alyssa going out of the game probably early because they're not going to do well, most likely. I needed to bolster up my numbers with somebody who is way more connected than two players coming at a very high numbers disadvantage. I just think of how Kayla and Leo and James were constantly kind of being targeted because they were at a numbers disadvantage. I think Dusty and Lewis can do some real good things in this game. I just wish they were coming in with a little bit more numbers. Like if Kayla came in, I would be better. James coming in, I think having at least 4 people would have from the Amazing Race would have helped.
Or
in
one
some
other Amazing
way.
Race person that's been on the show before.
Yeah, that would have been much. I feel like I would have been more. I would have been more happy to pick either one of these. I would have picked one of these two way higher, if not for the sabotage as well as the numbers game. So that's why I picked Josh.
And
but I love Lewis
Adrian,
and Dusty.
And Adrian here saying that, damn, the last 3 women here, shocker that they're this low. Remember, similar to what you just said there, Drew, there were the sabotage round ahead of this. So technically they're not this low. Technically they're ahead of the sabotage, but we've just got them in our last round to pick. But I've got the next pick here, and I've got to choose a woman, and I've got to say that chat is kind of making me change my mind here. I was going to go for someone different, but I feel like I've not been the villain today, and I don't want to be the villain in this last round, so I'm not going to do it. I'll be very honest. I was going to go for experience. I was going to go for Alyssa or Amanda, but they're all saying that I should go Chanel and stay Survivor strong. So going into my last pick, I might just do that. I might just take a risk, and I'll go with Chanel. And from a Survivor standpoint, I'm kind of completing the Survivor alliance. It's either going to go very well for me. It worked really well for me the first time. I will say I did USA, so hopefully it works well the second time. She did extremely well early on in the season in the challenges, but there was this whole thing with her and her alliance that fell apart where I felt like her social game wasn't too good. So I'm a little bit worried in that sense, but I'm just gonna trust the process here, and I'm gonna go with what chat wants me to do, because I'll be very honest, my pick was gonna be Alyssa until I saw the chat there. So I'm gonna pick Chanel. Everybody seems very happy with that. Thoughts on Chanel, Chantel?
I really like Chanel, and I really wanted to see her do a little bit better on your season of Survivor, but I also, with this new era, it's kind of hard to. There's just so many twists that can happen that I just don't know if she got to play a fair game, of Survivor. So I don't really know what she's capable of, and I was hoping that she would have been able to stay in the game longer. I want to see how she does here on the challenge. I would love to see her be a staple. I kind of met her in New York last year, but not fully. Like, we were kind of in this, like, she was at some of the parties that I was at with Rob's podcast. And so I like that she's still in the world. And so I think that that's really good for her to have connected with some of these other reality TV stars. So I'm hoping that's going to mean that she's maybe strategized, or she's just talked to people about the game. Like, hopefully she's gotten some information and she is going to be able to excel and do well. So I think it's a good pick.
What I will say about
I have a good reason to pick any of the last 3 for sure.
What I will say about Chanel, because there's a few people who don't know who she is and asking a little bit about her. She was, from memory, the merge boot, or just the first boot after the one player kind of fakely got to the merge, and she was the second person at that point voted out. Technically the first jury member. But early in the game, with the new Survivor, there's this thing where you can take risks to get advantages in the game. And she wasn't scared to risk to get ahead. So I know that she does have a cutthroat game player within her. I really hope that she does well this season. I would be very happy for her to go on, because she was a really positive energy that season. From memory, I think she was either my first pick or Jake's first pick for winner that season as well, which was in our top 2 picks for that season. So kind of full circle here for us to end up with her here, and for me to back my fellow Survivor girl here, trying to get to the end. I think that the Survivor girls are stacked this season. Chanel's no exception, but yeah, chat, you definitely changed my mind on this one. If she does well, I have you to thank. And I think the time to take the risk is in this last pick. That's normally where I like to see what chat is saying. Drew, what's your thoughts? You've been very quiet. You're on mute. That's why you're so quiet.
Solid pick. Solid pick. She's I think a strong player coming in. It's pretty wild to see her in the bottom 3. I had her around the 8 or 9 spot in my rankings. So yeah, I think it's funny thinking of this, but also remembering that there's sabotage rounds. So it's like I feel like she would have gone much higher than this if we didn't have those sabotage rounds. But I think it's a solid pick in the last round.
Yeah, she was 8 for me as well.
She was, let's have a look. Where did I rank Chanel? She was my 10th one on my picks. So yeah, I'm happy with this pick. It seems like I may have underestimated it a little bit, but chat is really, really happy. Kahuna saying dominant team. I'm trying to do my best here, Kahuna. Trying to do my best. Hanging in there for the TNT crew. Who's next? Chantal, you have the next pick. Who are you going to pick and who are you going to give to Drew at the same time?
I feel so powerless.
You started us off though, babe. So it's really hard for me to pick because I have them right beside each other in my rankings. I think that they both bring something to the table. I think that Alyssa brings a little bit more strategy. She's going to be a little bit more insulated because there's so many Big Brother people on this season. She has experience. She made it, what was the top 5 last season, or did she just get out right before the final? Like, I forgot what happened, but like she was doing pretty well. And she is a fan of the challenge. Amanda, we know that she's been on the many different seasons. She usually goes pretty deep into the game because like she gets into a group of people, but she kind of pops off. So you get points for, fight points. You might have some drama, as we mentioned before, with Fessy, Tori, Michelle, whatever, Love Square, Love Quadrant, whatever. But I just don't know if she can go down and come back out all the time if she has to go into elimination. So I think I'm gonna have to take. I don't know, guys. What do I do? Drew, who do you want?
I don't want to say.
Is she being kind or is she fooling you?
I don't know. I don't want to say. I do have one ranked at number 10 and I have one ranked at number 7. So that's where the difference is, in my opinion.
Can we talk through both of them before I make my decision? Can I hear your thoughts?
No. I think it went that way. You know my thoughts. If it was up to me, I was going to pick Alyssa.
Well, it's just like I feel like I'll get drama points, like kind of who's saying that here? Someone in the chat was saying drama points for Amanda for sure, but then and to entertainment absolutely, and confessionals most likely. But Alyssa's a fan of the show, and I think that she's gonna want to prove herself, and she's has a lot of people that are gonna want to work with her, and she was already on a season, and she did pretty well in that season. And remember,
I really liked Alyssa.
TJ did say that she was one of the standouts. And as much as I really like Amanda, and I think that she will get a lot of points, I think I'm going to go with Alyssa this time around, just because she has so many Big Brother people around her. I think that she could hide a bit and get into the end and potentially win.
Oh my gosh.
Listen,
I'm so happy.
Shut up. You're so happy. Whatever.
I'm so happy.
I agree with you. I like Alyssa. I think last season she came in and did reasonably well. She proved herself. She was competitive in all of the dailies. Also, one of the things that impressed me is that with Angela, she managed to pull the Survivor boys away from the Survivor girls, which I don't think was easy to do. Like, I think, yes, Angela was kind of the force that did it because she had the power of winning a lot of these dailies. But Alyssa was still a part of that package deal. Alyssa was protected with Angela. So that in itself, even though she was the lieutenant, I think you have to give her some props. Like, it was pretty good gameplay from her there that season. And I like Amanda for the show. I think she brings great drama, great entertainment. But again, I don't know if she could survive eliminations against some of these new girls coming into this game. Like, I just think there's a lot of players that are not going to stand back. This is a different breed of newbie coming in. The survivor players are not afraid to take risks, take on big players or veterans in the game. And if you're looking at a vet, you're trying to make a statement, which one of the vet girls are you going to pick to go down there? I feel like Amanda is vulnerable. Like, I would pick Amanda above some of the other vet girls to go down into an elimination. So that's where I see the weakness. But then if Amanda somehow survives, if her friendship with Josh helps her, and she gets deeper into the game, then maybe she does get a lot of confessional points. It could go either way. But this is the last round. We're sort of splitting hairs. But Drew, why are you so happy about getting Amanda rather than Alyssa?
I came in with the full goal of not going out with both Alyssas. If I could have left here with no Alyssas on my team, I would have been so happy. So leaving here, knowing that I got both Alyssas, I would have been so upset. I think there's valid criticism on both ends that neither have made a finals. I think Alyssa did well on her USA season 1. Amanda is just now returning to the challenge realm. Maybe she doesn't have a lot of friends. Maybe she could be in a very hot spot early on in this game. But I also think that both women could have a strong drama points, potential for drama points with Alyssa and Tiffany on the season, again with each other, Amanda and Tori, and all this other stuff. I just feel like Amanda gives a little bit more than Alyssa. I view Alyssa's season 1 as pretty strong, but I felt like she was that like little fish on the bottom of sharks, where Angela was the shark and she was the little fish that was attached, that Alyssa, that she was her +1, that she was
tethered.
always like, hey, Tyson and Angela were running this game, and then it was like, well, as long as you're holding me and Alyssa together, then we're good. But without Tyson and Angela there, I wonder who is she going to latch onto? Can she be able to go in? Because I'm not going to lie, her stature makes her a pretty big target. I feel like if, say, people can call people out, maybe that would be the case. Same with Amanda. I just feel like I'm more comfortable with Amanda
I wish
on
I
my team
realized
than with
that
Alyssa.
you had the other Alyssa. Like, I know I gave it to you, hurt you, but like, I would have loved for you to have both Alyssas on your team. That would have been hilarious. Damn it.
I wasn't saying anything until Chris moved the pictures over, and I was like, I'm gonna say something now, because I was holding it in. I was holding my breath, and I was like, please, I don't need both Alyssas on my team.
Danica is really bringing up a solid point here that I didn't realize until this point. Drew's pretty solid with confessionals. He's got Wes, Janae, Corey, Josh, Paulie, and Amanda, all solid in confessionals. But if they're going to focus on the CBS cast, they might not get as many. So when you look at the teams,
CBS show.
Yeah, definitely. And when you look at the teams, I think both me and Chantel, we're kind of low on the veterans from the main flagship show. We've got a lot of the newer players in there. I feel like the newer players, they're going to come with some fire. But if the vets do take control of this game, then this is going to be Drew's game. We had the same strategy coming into this, Chantel, but Drew definitely stuck with his guns, stuck with the experience of people that have gone out there, that have done it before, that have proven themselves. But I am asking the question here of the live audience, who do you think has the winning team? Who do you think is the best team? And that poll will remain open for a few minutes still until we sort of close off things here. So at the moment, I can say that I'm leading the vote with 56% of the vote. Drew's at 28%. That's the first time I've ever led a poll. Chantel is at 17%. And we'll see how that sort of plays out from now until the end here of the show.
Why don't we highlight Dabu's comment here? Highlight Dabu.
Which one's it? So money on Tori and Fessy to win. So Chantel got beat team. Listen, if Tori and Fessy wins, I think Chantel has to pick them for the rest of the remainder of any drafts we do in the future. And it has to be her number 1 and 2 picks. She's got to stay true if that happens. Deal, Chantel? Tori, deal?
No deal. No to hell.
Final thoughts, Chantel. What do you think of the teams, how it's shaped up? Did this draft go the way that you planned? I know you've been thinking about this for weeks, months. Like, how are you going to beat both me and Drew? Did it go according to plan?
I don't even know if there was a plan. Because when I'm looking at all three teams, they are all. I feel like they're all kind of balanced in a way. Because like, we just don't know how the season's gonna go, and so like I could see either any of our teams winning. To be honest, I can see if if this is the way it goes. Yeah, I will. I'll message him and ask him if we can go on a date.
You have to do an
um,
interview with. You've got to reach out to him and ask him if you use your connections in the
okay,
reality TV world, so you can do an interview with Fessy if he
with the
wins. I
winner.
want to see that.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, okay. If he wins, I'm gonna do Fessy the way you've never seen him before. You know?
Yeah. Fessy, tell us
Like,
about your softer introvert side, the side that the
yeah,
rest of us don't see.
yeah, the real Fessy.
The real Fessy,
Expose.
Faisal, by the way.
Faisal. Yes,
Yeah.
who's the man behind Fessy? Faisal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see that like all teams have a capability of winning. I don't think that any team is super weak or super strong necessarily. Like I don't know. I think they seem pretty even to me. I don't know how I thought it was going to go down, but you guys are so funny.
Chantal destroying people's dinner over here. So rude. No, listen, I get what you're saying. It's been an interesting draft. I think that for me choosing to go females first, I'm still very happy with that move. That to me kind of set my game up.
Yeah,
So it
I
was
thought it
good
was
to
going
have
to
a
get
bit of power.
Desi, to be honest.
Yeah, I knew you were going to get her, and I was like, "There's no way I'll take a risk on her because I feel like this is her season. I feel like she's going to come in with a bit of fire under her." I kind of
Mhm.
gave because normally I wouldn't do this, but if you think about it, I gave a hint of who my first two picks were on the thumbnail of this,
Oh,
so
I
it was
didn't
like a
see
little
the
bit of a cheeky
thumbnail.
one. The thumbnail had both Bananas and Desi on it, so I kind of gave. I was playing 4D chess with you, thinking
Oh.
no way you guys would think I would actually pick the two players that are
Well,
on the thumbnail.
I didn't see it.
And
So
then I
maybe
did.
now I'm gonna have to go and look at all your thumbnails, every draft from now on.
It's not going to
Okay.
work in the future. I know it's not going to work in the future, or will it? It's going to be that extra mind game I'm going to be playing with you guys now when we do drafts in the future. Drew, what did you think of this draft? Has everything gone according to plan?
I didn't know what to expect, honestly, because I kind of just threw names on a sheet of paper and then went back and looked and went, I guess that looks right. I'll be honest, I have 4 of my top like 5 or 6 men that I had on my rankings. Does that mean anything at this point? No,
Right.
because the game hasn't even started yet or the show hasn't even premiered yet. And I should feel good about that. You know, if I have 4 of the top 5 men picks or 6 pick that I had ranked out at the end of this, I should be feeling great, but I don't. I don't feel that great because I don't know how this game is going to go or how it could shake out. So I'm actually coming into this draft, I was questioning what's the strategy, what who is everybody going to pick. I could see everybody making a deal of a thought of this person and also discrediting this person. And I'm leaving here knowing my team at least. And yeah, I don't know. I'm still kind of confused on how this game is going to go. I mean, I'm just happy I'm
Anyone's
leaving with
guess.
only one Alyssa.
The one thing I will say I am happy about is the fact that we actually will get to see this season play out within the next 3 or 4 weeks from now when it premieres. At some point, there will be an official cast release. We'll have the photos up and everything. But we did the All Stars 4 draft so long ago that I don't even remember who's in my team
I don't. Just Tyrese.
outside of
all I
Kara
know.
and Jay. I don't really know. I don't even know who's in
Cam
my
and
team.
Leroy.
Yeah,
That's
you
all I
can
know.
Leroy.
Yeah, it's pretty
I got the
stacked. You had a stacked
power
team in All
pack.
Stars 4
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, so yeah, that was a lot of fun. I hope everybody here in the live had a lot of fun. I'm surprised I actually lasted and didn't sort of fade away, but the chat definitely kept me going. The competitive spirit within me kept me going. I want to win this draft. Chantal, I think we did a decent job this time around, but who'll know until we actually get to the season playing out in front of our eyes.
100%.
According to the live, as we end the poll here, 58% think I have the team to beat, 25% says Drew, and 17% at the moment on Chantal. So I'm pretty sure that's the first time we've not had Drew at the top of one of those polls. So let's see if that actually reflects to anything in the actual season.
I blame Josh. I blame everybody being biased against Josh.
I think Josh is like your Josh and Polly are your like steal picks. Like I think those are lucky picks that you got there. Like you didn't necessarily want them, but I think that you're gonna get bang for your buck for them.
If we got points for the chat like poll, I would have gladly let Chantel take Josh and then her have like the most just
Abysmal,
unlikable team to the chat, having Fessel, Tori, and Josh on there. And I probably would have ended with both Alyssas on my team. So I mean, in that alternate universe, I think it's a lose-lose in that whole situation. So
yep, that's it. Well, this has been a lot of fun. We're definitely going to have to make sure at some stage we get together to talk about this as the season progresses, once or twice at least, to check in to see how the points are going. I am holding everything I have crossed, fingers crossed, everything to try and win this season. I'd love to go back to back, but for now, I think that is it. Let's go over to Angelcake, talk about Angelcake. What's the things that are happening on your channel? Is there anything people should look out for over the coming week? What's sort of happening on the Angelcake Entertainment channel?
Happening over the week is going to be a Patreon peak. I'm going to be throwing out a commentary video. We're starting Gauntlet Season 7 over on patreon.com/angelcakevids. So I'll be putting out an abridged edited version as well as a sneak peek of what's to come and what are the new things happening over at Patreon. Another short, and then hopefully this USA 2 cast release that I thought was happening this week, I think is going to happen this upcoming week. I'm like 97% sure. If not, then they're just fools. If not that, I have another video coming out. I think it's going to be the most impossible challenge wins, where people who were against the odds were able to overcome and win despite their disadvantages or anything like that. As well as there's a Paula doc coming out very soon, as well as there was a Landon doc. Yeah, that's the next mini doc that I'm put out. I just put out a Landon one recently, and I'm gonna put out a Paula one upcoming this month, probably.
Yeah, exciting. Well, busy times over there on the Angelcake Entertainment channel. For those who want to go check it out, in the description or the title of this live, I have Angelcake's channel tagged in it. So make sure to go click on that, go subscribe to his channel. If for some other reason you haven't heard of Angelcake before, you know, he's kind of a big deal when it comes to the challenge. He does a lot of work in the challenge world.
Guy.
Exactly. But you never know. Somebody may not know who you are, Angelcake. So if you don't, go check him out. He does phenomenal work, even some really good documentary type of work recently on Cara Maria as well. And another one that I haven't checked out recently as well, which you should go and check out on the channel. There's some great stuff happening there. And if you are a fan of his channel, consider joining the Patreon. It's always lively on the Discord and with all of the extra lives that Angelcake does for his Patreon as well. Chantal, what's happening over on the Reality Realness channel with 3 S's?
Well, if you guys watch Love Island UK season 10, I'm going to go live in about 20 minutes to recap yesterday and today's episode. So it's the fallout of Casa Amor. It's pretty spicy. And I'm also doing Claim to Fame, which is another fun one. So on Tuesdays, usually sometime on Tuesday, I try to do it in the afternoon, but if I have to fly, that'll be in the evening. So we are watching the episode at home or on our own, and then not watching the conclusion and just doing the conclusion live after the recap. So we'll recap the show. We will go through the different clues, and then we'll have our final guesses who we think the people are going to be revealed to being who their celebrity relative is. And then we're doing that live on the show. So it's been really fun so far. I love, a good mystery, a good guessing game, solving puzzles, all that jazz, doing that with my friend Jonathan. It's definitely a fun time. And so, yeah, that's on Tuesdays, usually at 2 p.m. Eastern, but sometimes later on in the evening. So that's all I got going on right now.
Go check that out on the Reality Realness channel with 3 S's, also in the title of this live. I like the fact, Chantel, that we're kind of covering different shows at the moment as well. So if you're fans of the 3 of us, then, you know, currently on the Nullified Take channel, we're covering $1 Million Island, Australia, which has been a lot of fun to do. I'm doing short form videos, top 5 takes each week for each episode. And then Kahuna and Maki, they're covering the live for $1 Million Island, Australia. This week I did help out because Kahuna couldn't do it, so I was in the live. If you wanted to see me do another live as well, it's a lot of fun here on the channel, and I've got a little bit of a short video that I'm going to do on Rush Australia, which is a
with
new show
David
that's also
hosting.
yeah, it's a new show that's just released this week. It's actually looking really interesting. I am considering doing top 5 takes for it as well. It's a bit of a mix of Amazing Race, Survivor, and Big Brother all in one. So I quite like it. So look out for that. That should drop over the next week as well with my early thoughts on the season, and will be spoiler free. So if you just want to know what the show is about, go listen to that if you want to decide if you actually want to go and give it a crack. But that's it for now. Thank you so much to everybody in the live. You guys have been great, and we'll catch you guys next time. Bye.